Welcome back to another class overview. This time we are taking a look at the Spirit Shaper. The Spirit Shaper is the dedicated healing class of Revelation. Now before we get any further into this overview, I want to confirm that yes, you can make a male Spirit Shaper. So many of you ask, can you make one that isn't a lowly female? Yes, you can. No classes are gender locked. Just take a look at my Spirit Shaper. Beautiful. The point of this video is to help you decide whether the Spirit Shaper is for you, by showing you its skills, explaining how it works in the Trinity, and just giving you a basic understanding of the class. This is not a how to play Spirit Shaper guide, but maybe you will learn something. If you have a ton of experience with this class and see any information in this video that needs to be corrected, changed, or added, please let me know in the comments or make a text document and I'll add it to the description. A special thanks to Alluring for letting me use her character, and Mercy for being my test dummy. Kimmy Bear, a Twitch streamer who's been streaming Revelation quite a bit lately, helped me clarify some skills and Spirit Shaper information. And as always, thank you Lofty for translating the skill names and effects. I'll link their information in the description. These skill names are from translations, and the names will be different for the NA and EU version, so keep that in mind. The Spirit Shaper's main purpose is to heal. It has a ton of healing skills and will be one of the most needed classes in the game next to the Vanguard. That isn't to say that the other 4 classes aren't important, as you will always need DPS, but going into a difficult dungeon or raid without a tank or healer, you're just out of your mind. It's easy to run low-level dungeons without them, but once you get to the difficult content of Revelation, a Spirit Shaper is a must. With skills to place a barrier, resurrect, and heal multiple allies, it's your typical healing class but with a twist. The Spirit Shaper can turn into a little fox and also summon different animals like snakes, deers, dolphins, and yetis to deal damage and CC enemies. Will there be DPS focused Spirit Shapers? With thousands of players and the freedom to spec your character however you want, I'm sure we'll see it. Will it be viable? I'm not so sure, but if any of you test it, let me know. Now, let's talk about the Spirit Shaper skills. For your basic damaging skills, you have Soul Smite, which deals a small amount of damage but can be spammed. Glowworm applies a debuff to the enemy for 6 seconds and deals magic damage every 2 seconds. Bluebird tosses a bird at the enemy and hits pretty hard. This skill gets me every time because you hear this bird like scream as it's getting thrown out, and then it just falls to the ground and rolls over. Dolphins Dance summons dolphins that splash down through the ground and damage enemies in an AoE every second for 5 seconds. It also decreases their movement speed. Sanctification turns you into a small fox and gives you new abilities. Upon use, it breaks all CC and gives you immunity to CC while in this form, increases your movement speed, and decreases incoming damage. You also unlock 3 new skills: Charm, which stuns all enemies in a 5-meter radius for 3 seconds, and Impulse, which does damage for 3 seconds. Exit, which will put you back into human form early, give you CC immunity and 70% decreased healing power for 5 seconds, which does suck. For your healing and support basic abilities, you have Spring Breeze, which tosses heals out to an ally for 10 seconds, and the healing can be stacked up to 3 times. Nature's Touch, which restores HP to all allies within a 5-meter radius. Green Sprout, which restores health to the Spirit Shaper and allies. It has a 30-meter radius, so you don't have to be close to an ally to use it. Don't jump into danger when you don't have to. Resurrection, which will bring an ally back to life with a small amount of HP and mana. It has a 3-minute cooldown as well. Autumn Dew, which restores health to an ally every second for 3 seconds. Soul Armor applies a shield to the Spirit Shaper or an ally that absorbs damage, removes all debuffs and places a debuff on enemies near the target for 3 seconds that decreases their movement speed and prevents them from using dodge skills. Clear Heart applies a buff to yourself and all allies that grants immunity to CC and increases received healing for 3 seconds. It also gives you a 30-minute buff that restores a tiny bit of HP and MP every 5 seconds. Now, the Spirit Shaper has this bell in the middle of their legendary skills. From talking to other Spirit Shapers and playing this class for a bit, it appears that using healing abilities will light this bell up with green orbs. Using both healing and damaging skills will reset the bell, so we believe it's best to either stick to healing or damaging to get the benefits of the bell's buff. If you keep switching back and forth, you won't get the most out of your damaging or healing skills. For your legendary abilities, you have F1 through F3 for damaging skills and F4 through F6 for healing skills. To fill your damage bar, you have to deal damage. For the healing bar, you have to heal. So for your DPS legendary abilities, you have Deer Ram, which sends out a deer to charge the enemy. It ignores half of their magic defense as well. Snake's Embrace, which stuns the target for 6 seconds and deals magic damage every second for the 6 seconds. Rampant Hawk, which sends out a hawk to deal damage to all enemies within its path. Mountain Yeti summons a massive Yeti that deals damage every 0.5 seconds for 5 seconds. Every hit knocks down the targets as well. For your legendary healing skills, you have Lunar Downpour, which restores health to the Spirit Shaper and allies within the radius. Beacon, which restores a ton of health to the Shaper or an ally. Flower Vortex summons a flower that restores some HP and MP to all allies within a 30-meter radius every 1.5 seconds for 30 seconds. This flower can take damage and be destroyed. Lotus Dance restores health and mana to the Shaper and nearby allies for 10 seconds. Grants CC immunity to the Spirit Shaper and decreases all incoming damage by 70%. You get to glide around while using this. It's a pretty cool ability. For the passives, the Spirit Shaper has stability, which is that bell thing we talked about earlier. It gives you the damaging or healing buffs when using those types of skills. Eternal Life increases received healing for the Spirit Shaper and allies by 8%. Healthy Body is for every class and gives you more health for every 10 points you have in your stats. For the main hand, the Spirit Shaper uses a bell, and for the offhand, it uses a Digimon. But when it comes to speccing your Spirit Shaper, for the main stat, you want to put points in Spirit. Spirit increases healing power only for the Spirit Shaper class and also gives magic defense, HP, and MP recovery. Intellect is good as well because it increases the magic damage, and for the Shaper it also increases healing power. But if you are focusing on becoming a dedicated healer, you want to spec more into Spirit for its other bonuses. Constitution is good to keep you from being too squishy against physical attacks. Strength serves no purpose as you don't do physical damage, and Agility is for crits, so that's not needed. And that, my friends, is my Spirit Shaper overview. Is this class the class for you? If you are someone who plays healers in other games, does this appeal to you? The Vanguard, in my opinion, is one of the best designed tanks I've seen in any MMORPG, so tank players will probably really enjoy the Vanguard. But what about healers? Is the Spirit Shaper a well-designed healer in your opinion? Let me know in the comments, and the last class overview is of course the Gunner, so I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you soon, friends.